Welcome to On the Agenda, the show that lets you know about the actions your city leaders are making. At their Monday, November 16th meeting, City Council members heard a report on holiday safety tips, entered an interlocal agreement with the City of Pearland, and unanimously voted to elect Anthony Snipes as the city's new city manager. Here's a rundown of Council's decisions from that meeting. Representatives from Missouri City Green and city staff presented the third quarter Golden Tree Award to Lake Olympia Animal Hospital for demonstrating outstanding landscaping around their Missouri City business.
I don't know if you all really know what the Golden Tree Award is, but what we try to do is recognize businesses that are making this city a wonderful place to live. And I know you've heard all the wonderful things about Missouri City recently, but one of the places that we want to recognize today is Lake Olympia Animal Hospital. Now, some of you all may be familiar. I am. And if you go on Yelp, if you look, they have a rating system. For the service that they deliver, they get 5 out of 5. That's saying quite a bit, Doctor. It really is. One of the things that I recognize, because we go around the city, and if you all have businesses, you can help me with this. And if you see a business that is promoting native plants or they're doing recycling, it may be a LEED building. You all probably know what that is because we've awarded some buildings for that as well. But at Lake Olympia, when you drive up, you see all these wonderful native plants. You go, I think this would be a good one to consider. And so we did consider, and the committee selected Lake Olympia. And we're going to present our award to Dr. Michael Jacobs. And that's your plaque, and then you also get a yard sign so that your patients and their parents will know.
The patients
will know that they're beautifying the city as well.
We have not attempted to do anything that would achieve this award, but we've tried to make our place that it was nice. And an animal hospital is a place that cannot be nice, or it can be, and it's been our attempt all the time to build a facility that was pleasing and acceptable, something that fit into the community, and it's just an honor that we've been recognized for that. So thank you very much.
Let's give him a hand, guys.
Missouri City Council and representatives from WCA next presented an instructional video on WCA, the city's new solid waste and recycling provider. The video describes the city's new contract with WCA and how residents can use the new bins, which will be distributed to residents beginning December 1st.
Hi there, my name is Melvin Moore. I'm with WCA. As you've probably heard by now, WCA was selected by your city leaders to be the new residential provider of solid waste disposal and recycle services. Now, beginning in December, 2 containers will be delivered to each Missouri City resident. One will be a 95-gallon Navy can for your solid waste disposal, and the other will be a 65-gallon gray container for your recycle disposal. Each container will contain a sticker, and that sticker will describe the various services that will be provided for each container. It will also be a reminder for each resident to wait until January 1st before removing the sticker and utilizing the service. In partnership with the Keep Missouri City Beautiful initiative, WCA has acquired vehicles that run on compressed natural gas, which run more efficiently and is environmentally safer for the air we breathe. Now, on the day of service, we ask that you would place each container with the wheels against the curb and spaced by at least 4 to 5 feet in distance so that they can be serviced properly. WCA will provide the following services to Missouri City residents beginning January 4th, 2016. Paper products such as newspaper, copy paper, cardboard, books, magazines, milk cartons, and uncontaminated paper products. Plastic products, plastic bottles, jugs, and small buckets, containers no larger than 5 gallon with number 1 through number 7 resin code, excluding number 6 plastic and plastic films. metal products, food and beverage aluminum cans and bottles, foil, steel and tin cans, copper and metal pots and pans are all acceptable. Aseptic and gable top containers, such as packaging milk cartons, juice and drink boxes without the straws. Please be aware that the following items are not to be placed in your gray 65-gallon recycled polycart container. Pizza boxes, styrofoam, glass bottles. Those items should be placed in your 95-gallon blue polycart container. Yard trimmings will be picked up once per week. Yard trimmings are categorized as cuttings or trimmings from trees, shrubs, or lawns, and similar materials such as grass, leaves, flowers, stalks, stems, tree trimmings, and branches. Remember, always place yard trimmings in craft bags that have sufficient wall strength to maintain physical integrity when lifted. And always ensure that your yard trimmings bags are placed at least 5 feet away from your polycarts on the day of service. Brush bundle waste disposal is also a once per week service. This refers to yard trimmings that cannot be easily contained in a yard trimmings bag, bundle, or can, such as small tree limbs and branches. Be sure that each bundle is securely tied together, forming an easily handled package, not exceeding 4 feet in length or 40 pounds in weight. When placing your bundles near the curb, keep them at least 5 feet away from your polycart containers. And finally, bulky waste disposal, which is an every other week service, includes acceptable solid waste generated from a residential unit that is not easily contained in a cart, such as furniture, household items, bicycles without the tires, swing sets. Also included are similar domestic and commercial large appliances, often referred to as white goods. White goods are classified as refrigerators, freezers, ice machines, which have CFCs removed by a certified technician for safe disposal. Stoves, ranges, and water heaters also qualify as bulky items. Each resident is limited to 4 bulky items each, not to exceed 5 cubic yards. Items that exceed these guidelines will be tagged as non-compliant and remain at the resident. If you need additional clarification, feel free to call 281-403-5800 or visit the Missouri City website at www.missouricitytx.gov. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
Missouri City Parks and Recreation staff next gave a presentation on the most recent Family Fun Night, which featured a bike ride of Missouri City.
In 2013, March of 2013, Council adopted a bicycle and pedestrian mobility plan. And since then, we've seen different types of bike lanes pop up in Missouri City. So on the screen, you can see the far left, we have a shared designated bike lane. In the center, we have a wayfinder dot, and then on the far right is a shared route marker. So these new markings have been coming up in Missouri City little by little since that mobility plan was adopted. And so we thought, what a great time to get people involved and interested in biking here in Missouri City. The B-Cycle program, some of you may be familiar with, has popped up in San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. And so modeling off of that, we created our own bike rental program at the Rec Center. We bought 4 specialized step-through bikes from Sugar Cycles, the local bike shop. They've also agreed to maintain those for us throughout the duration of this program. So the rental program is free for members of the Rec Center. It's a 3-hour rental period. And for non-members, it's a $5 fee for that 3-hour period. The rental does include a helmet. So they basically come in, fill out a simple, quick form, and then they go on their merry way. They can use the trails around Missouri City as well as the bike routes. So that's kind of where that information that we just passed out was born. We thought if we're going to give these people the opportunity to ride in Missouri City using our bikes, we want to make sure they're doing it safely. So each of our bikes has one of those little cards that you received around the handlebars, so the bike safety information actually goes with the rider. The other information is available on the website as well as at the Rec Center and details different bike safety tips, rules of riding on the roads, how to identify the different bike lanes, as well as some bike maintenance information. So, at our Family Fun Night, we wanted to promote all of those things that we have going on here for the city. So we gave out some awesome bright neon yellow t-shirts branded with our cool logo. We also gave out headlights and reflectors so people are safe when they're riding in the evening time. Along with the Glow Ride, which was the main portion of the event, we had a bike safety course. Public safety came out and shared information about the bike lanes. We also had Shape Up Fort Bend, which some of you may be familiar with as a nonprofit in the area. They came out and passed out information, as well as led the bike ride itself with the assistance of Missouri City PD. You can see some photos from the event here. Kids had a great time. We had glow sticks, so they were able to actually deck out their bikes to be totally lit up for the event. As you can see here, this particular family really went all out and bought all kinds of glow lighting to put on their bikes. And so again, we're hoping to continue this program to really continue pushing biking in Missouri City. We'll probably host another evening glow ride in the spring. Hope to have more participants. This time around, we had about 50, which we felt was pretty good for the first one. So we want to continue building upon that.
Missouri City Chief of Police Mike Marison gave a presentation explaining holiday safety tips residents can practice.
Believe it or not, 2015 has flown by, and we're in the Christmas season, or coming upon the holiday season, so I think it's no better time than the present to talk about a few items. I'm only going to cover 5 because I can go all night, and because you can find a whole lot of crime tips out there, but I'm going to cover the 5 that we see that likely would help us cut down the frequency of the bah humbugs that are roaming around our city from time to time that aren't interested in spreading joy. So this is also present on our next door. We've pushed it out that way. So anyway, just to cover these 5, when you're out shopping and you park your vehicle, try to park in a well-lighted or well-lit area, someone that's well-traveled. Crooks tend not to want to be spotted. And since everybody's carrying a camera now, our witnesses are even gotten better at giving us a description because they whip out those phones real quick and are quick to take pictures of the criminals. So they hate to hit you if you're in a crowded area, so try to avoid that. Or stay near the crowded areas, avoid the non-crowded areas, avoid the dark areas. Also, try to have your keys in your hands when you're walking from the store to your car. You don't want to be fumbling around with your packages and keys. When you're shopping at the store, I know that only the bad things happen in that big city to the north, but truth is, if you've got a package sitting on your front seat, these criminals will break your window in order to find out what it is, even if it's just empty boxes. So the best thing to do is store them out of sight. In the event that you put them in your trunk, you may want to move your car to some other place in the parking lot so they don't see you put it in the trunk and walk away, because almost all of our cars now have a button inside our cars that pop the trunk open whether you have your key in it or not. So try to avoid putting them in there and walking away. But also don't leave your purse and wallet and cell phone in plain view. Believe it or not, people still do that. And then if someone does in fact try to victimize you, we do not suggest that you try to chase them down. Try to be a good witness, try to get away, call 911. In the event that you see someone else being attacked, we don't encourage you to try to intervene. We'd much rather you videotape it. If you think you can safely intervene by making noise or something like that, that's good, but way too often now the criminals are carrying weapons, so I'd just seeing people not get hurt. All these things can be replaced, people cannot. So, as always, please lock your vehicle, and as you're going down the road, keep your windows up, your doors locked. We don't see a whole lot of carjacking here, but 'tis the season. We all tend to lower our guard a bit during the holiday season and think everybody else has this feeling of joy in their heart, and unfortunately they do not. So oftentimes, statistically or historically, we see an uptick in person-on-person crimes or property crimes involving people shopping. The other thing is, when you get those really nice items like your large screen TVs, don't put the box on the curb after you've opened them up on Christmas Day, because you just told everybody what you got on your wall now. So, and I know we had a guy years ago that used to work here say, put it in your neighbor's front yard. Don't do that either, okay? All right? Don't do that. The best thing to do is shred it up, make it as small as you can, and put it in that big, ginormous WCA can that they're going to provide you.
Council unanimously approved Anthony Snipes as Missouri City's newest city manager. Before voting, council discussed the 90-day trial period that Mr. Snipes will undergo.
I have 3 comments.
Okay.
There's 3 things in the contract that I didn't believe that council as a whole agreed on. One was section 2E, and the terms are trial basis. The other one is section 7A.
What?
7A. An evaluation in 90 days, and the other one was no severance at all for 90 days.
Is there a discussion? Is this what was discussed that night?
We discussed that for 90 days, he had requested the 12 months of severance.
Yeah.
And then after the 90 days, that would kick in.
Right. It's
But-
90 days, and then after 90 days, it goes a year. Then after a year, it goes back to 6 months.
Yeah, I'm okay
that's
with
what
that.
it- Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, but the trial basis that he's hired on a trial basis, I wasn't under that
Yeah,
understanding.
that's the 90 days, and that gives him an opportunity to decide whether we're the right fit, and it gives us an opportunity without having him make a big commitment to move. But that's what I thought we talked about that night.
Well, that wasn't my understanding. If he's okay with
Yeah,
it,
that's what, and he is.
if he's okay with it, and then the evaluation in 90 days, because we've never done this in any of the other 2 city manager contracts that I have. So it was a concern of mine. And
No, the
then-
reason I did that, Yolanda, was that if we're going to say in 90 days, we need to give him some measurable things, and that's why I asked you all the other night, come up with some measurable performance things that we can actually, tell him that when he comes on board December 1, these are the things that we'd like to see happen in this first 90 days, so that we don't at the end of 90 days just say, well, you didn't perform. We need to be able to, in this next 2 weeks, from council, I want you all to give me some things that you feel like you would like to see him bring about or make, and then at the end of 90 days, we'll sit down and say, did you achieve what we thought you needed to achieve or not? And then I think also in here is that we do a 6-month evaluation, and after that, we do annual evaluations, which we should do anyway, so.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like I said, the only thing that I thought the 90 days applied to was the severance that he was requesting
Yeah.
for the 12 months. I wasn't,
Yeah, no, it's.
I can ask the other council members if that was their understanding, then so be it.
So, since this is setting precedents, are we gonna do this from now on? Are we gonna, when we bring in,
I think we should, and it's not unusual, Don, in corporate world to do that.
well, I'm not addressing corporate world, what I'm addressing is what we've been doing in the past, and are we going to, from now on, have a 90-day trial period for city manager?
I would, absolutely. You bet.
Is that something we should consider placing as part of the hiring policy?
I think it
I mean,
should be, yes.
It's not
I
in
do.
there now, so I think it'd be something we'd want to
Absolutely.
bring up for consideration to see if we wanted to
Why?
amend it.
What happened? Why are we doing this? What happened to make us so judicious right now?
I don't think there's anything different about what we're talking about, Don. I said, what it does, it gives him an opportunity to make sure that this is the right fit for him. It gives us the opportunity to say, is this the right fit for us? We're an unknown to him and he's an unknown to us. And that's true of any city manager. And you're right, it hasn't been in there in the past, and I think it should be.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think it needs to be part of our employment policy.
Has Mr. Snipes signed this contract?
Yes, he has.
Then I would hope that we would just move forward, and if anything we want to change in the future, then we need to deal with, I would encourage that we deal with that later. This is kind of embarrassing.
Well, I think you're the only one embarrassed, Jerry, but where we are it's just policy and procedure. It has nothing to do with other than that. The fact is we paid $25,000 to a consultant to do not only a profile, do a background check, go through all the procedures. We've never done it before. And then now what we're doing is we're doing some redundant stuff, and then on top of that, we're saying, okay, well, even after all of this, we want you to have a 90-day trial period. I'm just trying to figure out what happened to put us in a position where we feel that this is needed.
That's what we talked about, John.
I think we're airing dirty laundry. We
Yeah,
should take this offline.
Yeah.
No, it's not airing dirty laundry because this is the agenda. How can it be airing dirty laundry? It's on the agenda.
Today's a very important day for our city.
How is it airing dirty laundry? And it's on the agenda.
I'll just leave it alone, Don. It's not the time.
No, it's not.
I would suggest also that when you're looking for what those measurements are to provide to Mr. Snipes, that be a collective effort.
Oh, absolutely.
With the council meeting.
Yes.
You know, as one body to formulate that,
No,
those items.
absolutely. It needs,
Because, you know,
it needs to
we
be
don't,
collective.
we need something that I think that's pretty much to the point of what we're looking at trying to accomplish, and not just a total laundry list of everything that we can think of. So we just need to make sure that, you know, that we put something together that's comprehensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got to know, he's got to have a playbook.
Yeah.
And Anthony and I've talked about that. He needs a playbook. He knows that's a playbook, and he needs something also to say that at the end of 90 days, we don't just say, hey, Anthony, we didn't like you. No, we need to be able to say, these are the things, and it goes down along with what you've been trying to put in place all along, is having some evaluation processes in place to evaluate, which we've not done a very good job of. And I admit that because, quite frankly, when I send those things out to council, I get very few responses back.
Mr. Snipes was present at the meeting and introduced himself to council and the city.
Thanks for the opportunity. Anthony Snipes, born and raised in a small town called Americus, Georgia. Not many folks know where that is, but it's about 13 miles from Plains, Georgia, hometown of Jimmy Carter. I've had the pleasure of working in the state of Texas for the past 15 years in Fort Worth in the city manager's office, as well as working in the water department as an assistant director there before going to the city of Austin, being the chief of staff and assistant city manager there most recently. I'm very happy to be given this opportunity, Mayor. I want to thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Smith, and the council for giving me this great opportunity to be a part of this wonderful city, the Show Me City. I really, as I stated to the mayor the other day, I'm really excited about rolling up my sleeves, working collaboratively with you and the employees to move the city in a direction that where your vision sees us going. I want to take this time to thank my wife, who's here, Dr. Tracy Snipes, who has been with me for 16 years and has really been a wonderful support, and I could not be where I am today without her, and I wanted to ask her to please stand and be recognized.
We got to help her find and get a job too, don't we?
Without a doubt, Mayor. But I truly thank you for this opportunity. I was sharing with my wife earlier this week on Thursday. One of my mentors, city manager from Tallahassee, Florida, would be retiring after 30 years. And as I reflect back on the opportunity that she gave me to be a graduate intern in her office, she said she wanted to expose me to what local government was really all about. And what she said to me was, what other profession touches the lives of people more so than local government? Whether it's the roads that we drive, the water that we drink, the parks where our kids play, we truly touch the day-to-day lives of people. And that's why I do what I do, and I'm very honored that I have an opportunity to work very hard to make Missouri City even better than it was before I arrived. And with your direction and help, I hope to do a great job for the city.
We look forward to having you. Come
Anthony,
on
I
board.
think you have some other support group here, don't you, from Austin? You might introduce them? They came all the way down?
Well, a recent retiree Deputy City Manager Mike McDonald, who was over our police and fire, and his wife Sharon are here, came down to support me. My former assistant in my office in Austin, Kathleen Noel, she's now in the private sector here in Houston, has been working as a manager on the private side. She stopped by. And then I see a gentleman, Michael, back in the back. He's from the Houston area as well. So I want to thank them for coming out to support me this evening.
Great.
Very good. Well, we look forward to having you report on December the 1st, and I know you'll find that the city will welcome you with open arms, and we've got a great staff. And, you know, we didn't get to be one of the 50 best cities in the United States to live in by ourselves. It wasn't because of us. We argue too much, but the staff out there is what's responsible for what's making Missouri City what it is today. So I know that you'll find that they're looking forward to having you as well as we are. And I know you all are driving back tonight to Austin, so I hope you have a safe trip and get ahead of all this storm and stuff we're fixing to have. So
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Council.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Very good. So there was a motion by Councilman White and a second by Councilman Emery. We'll vote. All those in favor? Motion carried. Welcome aboard, Anthony.
Council reappointed William Wallace to the Board of Directors of the Fort Bend Subsidence District Board for a 2-year term that begins on February 1st, 2016 and ends on January 31st, 2018.
Mayor and Council, Mr. William Wallace has served as our appointee for a number of years. We're asking that Council consider reappointing Mr. Wallace. He has been contacted. He is willing to continue his service as a director. The district, Fort Bend Subsidence District, says that Mr. Wallace has a good attendance record. He currently serves as secretary to the board, chair of the finance committee, and is on the regulatory planning committee. It is staff's recommendation that council renew Mr. Wallace as our representative on the Subsidence District Board.
Council next declared an exemption from competitive bidding laws and authorized the execution of an agreement to purchase body-worn camera solution.
Yes, sir. We were just, we'd like to implement a body camera solution, a program. We're going to use federal seizure money to get it started. There will be a recurring cost for maintenance and things of that nature that the city will have to pick up because, you know, obviously we can't use federal seizure money for recurring costs, but to the tune of about $98,381 of federal seizure money. We're going to get this ball rolling with the approval of council. Coban is our system that we currently use for in-car video systems, so this is just a mere adding to that. It's a sole source provider type issue. Since we've already got that as our vendor, it fits with our program that we already have going with our in-car video systems. There's about a 45-day rollout from the date of order until we receive the actual cameras. Then there's some certain training issues that we have to cover statutorily that come with body cameras. There has to be a training class at TCOL, the governing body that gives us all of our license and gives us the direction for law enforcement, that we have to cover a class with that. We have the preliminary training syllabus for that. We don't expect a whole lot of changes, but it basically follows Royce West bill, and as you know, I was part of that with Chief Brinkley and the Lemet folks to help develop some of that. And bottom line is we're hoping that council approves this and we can move forward with this acquisition.
How many cameras are we going to get initially?
105.
105.
What's the total rollout time?
45 days from the time we order it to the time we receive the actual items, and then we've got to cover the training, and then we got to make sure our policies fit too, because the bill, the law that covers some of this requires certain verbiage in our policy, and we're following TPCA, which we're a recognized agency by TPCA, Chief Jimison, who's over our research and development and policy, is working with E-Joyce and her staff to make sure we're adhering to all the rules of the bill and staying within the guidelines of the Texas Police Chiefs Association.
So they should hit the street by 90 days?
And we hope,
Estimate.
we hope by mid to late February,
Okay, that's good.
so.
Chief, the one of the,
That'd be,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm through.
The one of the 5 cameras, is that allow fit to all officers on duty?
We have an authorized strength of 103 sworn,
Yeah.
so that would outfit even me, and I'll even have one issued to me. So when I jump out of the office with the other command staff members, I will have to remember to put that bad boy on.
Is the same protocol will be used for car cameras, the cameras that's in the car, the ones with body cameras with, I'm trying to think of what the police call when you have a meeting just before you get out to duty, inspections
Roll
and
call.
all of that. What is that?
Roll call.
Roll call, yeah, roll call.
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Our body cameras will be required by all officers.
Correct. They get
Yeah.
inspection, it'll be part of their equipment, part of their uniform. So when they go through daily inspections with their sergeants or lieutenants, and then the real strict inspection on Wednesdays, a lot of times they get, or they're midweek, we don't really do it on Wednesdays per se anymore because of our schedule change, but they're midweek inspections, they'll have to produce that camera, along with all the other stuff that they carry on their uniform. But, and then the same procedures that the officers use now, or the supervisors use now to do audits of the officers' use of the body cameras will be the same. The only thing that we might examine is how much we continue to use the cameras on the motorcycles, because, and this is just me speaking now, because we hadn't actually addressed this with my research and development guy over there, so you see him squirming here in a moment. I don't mean to do that to him, but I am thinking about examining using the body cameras solely for the motorcycles. Part of the reason is the cameras on the motorcycles are really eating my batteries up on the motorcycles, and I think that the body camera will accomplish everything that the motorcycle camera does now by itself. So we believe that might be a better solution. How much is he dancing over there? Because I haven't shared that with him.
He's got a big old
He's
smile.
squirming.
yeah, Mike, I know that the on-dash cameras are activated when our guys turn the lights on. What's gonna activate the body cameras if they're in a hurry, getting out of that car, guys running? What's gonna prompt them to hit that?
We are going to have to condition them to turn those bad boys
Because
on.
I know that, the on-dash cameras, they don't even have to think about it. They turn the lights on its own. But the body camera's gonna take some training to,
We're going to have to
the minute
condition
you
them.
hit the door handle, you better be turning this baby on too.
It's like the mics they have on their bodies now.
Right.
It's muscle memory. So when they got the car, they got to hit it. It's muscle memory. The camera's gonna be the exact same thing, because they will be able to record and also hear what they say through the cameras also. So it's just one push button, just like the mics on their bodies. Those don't activate when you're with the lights turn on. But when they get out the car, it's muscle memory. It's gonna be something learned.
Now, the in-car cameras, they come on one of 3 ways. When you turn the overhead lights on, the emergency lights, they come on,
Right.
or they reach up and actually physically hit the button, or they hit the control on their belt to turn those on. It's just going to be a matter of them having hit that camera, and it's muscle memory. And, of course, if someone's attacking them into the car, I'd much rather them try to save their lives before they turn that camera on. Hopefully, we condition them to, right before they get to wherever they're going, they turn that on. The other thing is we have to train them how to use, or actually some of our staff on how to use some redaction software, because not all of our recordings are going to be criminal in nature, because it's not uncommon for our officers to show up to help someone either back into the tub or back into the bed, and that will be public record. So if someone sees the officer down the street and they want to know why, the officers were down at, Miss Smith's house, or Miss Johnson's house, or whomever's house, and they ask for it, we got to be able to blur all that out so we don't put things out there we don't want released.
And how long are we gonna store data?
It's gonna be based on the same requirements as the Coban
Yeah.
camera.
Which
But
is?
With the exception of, the Coban cameras, the in-car cameras are there for the racial profiling requirements of 90 days.
90, okay.
Correct, but that's if nothing's happened, okay? Because of the Michael Morton rules, we can tag a video. If we tag a video, then that means it gets locked in there as evidence, and it
Right.
stays in our system.
Okay.
Now, we cannot dispose of evidence until 60 days. I'm hoping E. Joyce jumps in if I speak out of line. But we cannot dispose of evidence until 60 days after final disposition of a case. So, in the event that a case keeps getting reset, even if it's a minor
Right.
offense, and that keeps getting reset, then we keep holding that stuff forever, or until the case is disposed of. In the circumstances of a capital murder or a murder, because there's no statute of limitations, quite a while. Thank goodness we don't have that many of those. To give you an idea, and I'm not trying to not to prolong all this, but to give you an idea how Michael Morton affected us. Years ago, if we got into a car chase and we had 2 cars chasing someone, we may have 2 videos. Now, every car that goes, and every time you turn it off and turn the camera on and off, that's a new video. So we've had cases where before it would have been 2 videos that we had to send to the district attorney's office. Sometimes it's up to 40 and 50 videos. So just the sheer management of this stuff is really going to go up a whole lot. And now we're about to add another camera to the person's body. So just to give you
105 of them.
yeah, so it's going to increase our management challenges. So we've got some things in-house that we're trying to work with in order to get by, but we should be fine. Our camera's our best witness.
Cedric, how does that impact your archive capability?
It really don't with the new storage solution that we can purchase, and also the back-end office that we can purchase with this solution. We're gonna be hopefully okay, but it's gonna grow. So we gotta manage the solution. I don't wanna feed the solution with more disk space every single time. We just got to learn to manage it and understand where we are. At 105 cameras, there's gonna be a cap. We're gonna know where it's at. But as we hire more police officers, then we have to look at, more growth to the solution.
Is this stored in hardware or is it in the cloud somewhere?
It's here. It would be in our data center integrated into the 2 solutions that we have purchased, which is the Rockets. So when they actually put their cameras in the car in the docking station, it will automatically upload through the Cobian system anywhere that they have cellular connectivity. So they don't have to come back here and load it every single time. Also, with the data storage that we actually purchased, gives us space to store a lot of this information.
What's the battery life on, how long can they wear that body camera?
They can wear it up to 42 hours, but recording is 8.6 hours on high def and 12.
22 hours they can wear it though?
Yeah, the recording is what, 8 point something?
8.2.
And when they dock it, it recharges.
Correct. And we give them 2 solutions to charge, one at home and one in the car.
And this is a 3-year solution, so we're going to start building up, so when we get to 3 years, we're not in a panic trying to replace this. We're going to do it as we go along, so we're prepared, so we're not coming back in 3 years in a panic going, it's time to replace this, and the technology's gotten old. We're going to stay on top of that, just like we did with our Cobian cameras. So
I got 2 questions and I'm through. Can you lease them?
Yes. You can lease anything. But a unit that costs $300 I think the shelf life of it will outlive the lease. Okay. So it's like leasing a TV. Okay. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. And the last question, what's the weight of all the gear you guys carry now?
a lot. I don't wear this a lot, as you know, I don't wear this most of the time. It gives me about 30 or 40 extra pounds with everything and the camera. So, and it's all above your waist, so when people say, man, I outran the cops, that's not that hard, okay? Because we're top heavy. We go, and we go over the fence, everything just keeps going. I wish you would have watched our, actually, some of you have watched our testing when new officers come out.
Yeah.
We put a weight vest on them. Yeah. And it's funny to watch them go over the wall. Actually, it's not funny. Okay, it is funny. When they go over the wall, and they're not used to all that stuff, because we try to give them simulated conditions. It's amazing the number of people that face plant in the grass because they're not used to that. And we try to give them true to life, how it's going to be, because all this stuff weighs a lot. So, yeah, it's all above the waist. It's always something. And we got 105 cameras because invariably somebody's going to get into a fight and that's going to end up in a ditch somewhere, or they're going to lose it. I mean, it's just going to happen. As much as I'd like to say we never have fights here, but every once in a while people do fight us. So, Yeah, and we've lost, back in the day when we used to carry pagers, I don't know, we'd replace them
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a week because they just go infinity and beyond, so.
Mayor, one other thing I wanted to point out that they were talking about is we're in the process right now, and probably this week we'll end up getting it all signed and authorized, is our data retention that makes sure that it is in compliance with state statute and state retention policies. We try to review that continually, and there's some changes, as the chief was mentioning, that have taken place over the past year that we want to make sure we incorporate, and that goes back to being able to manage it so that we have space, both from a management standpoint and also a storage standpoint, and not run out.
It's my understanding that the maintenance is, what, like $7,000 a year?
Correct.
Annual?
It's
So
not
it's not-
$450 every year.
Okay.
The first initial includes the maintenance, but after that, going forward, we need to make sure we budget.
And we're going to put this all through our replacement program.
Okay, so it's manageable. I mean, it's not something where you've got a big hit that you have to take every year
Correct.
because of this, okay.
I would venture to guess there might be a few bumps in the road that we just don't see yet, but we've tried to certainly research this with other agencies that have rolled it out, and of course, they've hit a few hiccups here and there. I'm confident we'll hit a few hiccups, but we'll be fine.
Council awarded a contract to K3 Resources LP for sludge hauling services at Missouri City's water and wastewater facilities.
We've had our current contract for over 3 years now, and it's time we went out for bid, and our current hauler was low bid and is by significant on a per yard basis. And that's
Are they the
K3
hauler for
Resources.
most of the muds?
Yes, they are. They do contract with Quill Valley
Yeah.
itself. This will be a contract with
so.
us. So we're looking forward. We're going to be sitting down with them if you approve the award of this contract to just go over our contract and make sure everything's on par.
Council authorized the purchase of 23 fleet vehicles for $635,390 through the Fleet Replacement Program.
Through the budget process and through the fleet year-end status report for fiscal year 2016, there were just about a little over 40 vehicles that were authorized for purchase through the fleet replacement program at about $1.2 million. So this is about half of what we're going to spend right now. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce our fleet superintendent, which I don't know if most of you have met yet. He's the guy that replaced Bobby. So John Foreman. He was right here, and he does administer the fleet replacement program. And then we have Alan Phillips, our purchasing manager, that did the actual purchasing options for us. So take it away, Alan.
How many of each are we doing?
Say again, sir.
How many of each are we doing?
We will purchase 3 Chevy Tahoe police units from Classic Chevrolet here in Sugar Land. We'll purchase from Helpman Ford a police 4-door sedan for the police admin, 3 Ford Explorers for CID, 2 F-150 crew cabs for CID, 2 F-150s for Public Works, 1 F-250 for Public Works, 1 F-350 for Parks, and 8 Ford Explorer patrol cars. The only exception that we have this year is that, or this time, is that one of the city department's building maintenance needed a van, a cargo van. Those are not available on cooperatives, and they're not available on a state contract.
Right.
So my office did a solicitation. We have a bid out that I think opens next Tuesday, the 24th. That bid will open. We anticipate between $25,000 and $30,000 for that van. It'll come fully equipped as a utility van with the shelving on the inside. And so that's part of this. There's also 2 non-vehicular items on this item. They're message boards for traffic control, which we'll buy through the HGAC, or the Houston Galveston Area Council cooperative, at a cost of approximately $33,000.
City Council authorized the execution of an interlocal agreement between Missouri City and Pearland.
One of the items that was brought to my office, actually by Public Works recently, was the fact that we didn't have an ILA with the City of Pearland. They do a lot of similar things that we do, and we felt that it was in our best interest to approach the City of Pearland and ask them if they would be interested. They're very interested. They have it on their council agenda for next Monday night. E. Joyce and I decided to put it on our agenda for tonight. If it passes tonight in this meeting, then when they pass it next Monday night, which is pretty much a given, Then we'll have interlocal, and there's some public works things that we can use. We'll work back and forth with Pearland. They'll use some of our agreements, we can use some of theirs, and meet all the cooperative purchasing rules.
Don't we have interlocal agreements with other cities already?
Yes.
We do.
I mean, Stafford,
Stafford,
Sugarland,
mhm.
the
We just don't
county.
have them in
Portland County.
Pearland.
This
the
is not
county and
unusual.
all those, so this is just adding another piece to it, I assume, because of Pearland's encroachment up on the city. Very close.
I didn't
It's
say
a
that.
way to save some money if we can.
No, I know, but I mean, we
Well,
can
it
do it
certainly,
because of
it
our
would certainly
closeness.
help us with, in some bidding practices. Sharon and I met today about some items. They had asphalt, some other things, concrete. If we can share and work collaboratively with these groups, with Pearland, Sugarland, then we would mitigate some of the time it takes to bid them out and go through those processes.
For a full list of Council's decisions, including the consent agenda, click on the Council Connection link at the bottom of the MissouriCityTX.gov homepage. Keep watching Missouri City Television to learn more about Missouri City events and programs.